welcome back to the Road to Good Cooking, and it's been a couple of days. I celebrated my 73rd birthday for the whole week, so I guess I had to stop goofing off and get some work done today. So today I'm going to be making all beef hot dogs, and I know it's been a while since I've made sausage or hot dogs or anything like that, but today's going to be one of those days because I was at Costco on Thursday and they have the best hot dogs there, but I saved myself. I didn't buy any hot dogs because I thought I'm going to make me some hot dogs. So that's what I'm doing today, making some all beef hot dogs. So if you don't have anything else to do today, stick around. Check it out. First thing I'm going to do is mix up my cure. Now, ordinarily when I'm making sausage or hot dogs, sometimes I put the cure in them if I'm going to be slow cooking them like in my smoker. But being as I live in this old folks joint and they don't allow smokers or barbecue pits on the patio, I won't be able to do either one. So I'm going to cook mine in the oven at a really low temperature. And this is a cure that I'm going to be using. And on the back of the package, it tells you why you should use the cure. The air conditioner came on, so I had to mute the sound. But what it says on the back of the package is, why should I use cure? And it says it reduces the risk of botulism in your meat, slightly aids the preservation of your meat, enhance the flavor of the finished product, and it gives the finished cooked product a pink color. Now, if you don't use the cure, your meat is not going to have that beautiful pink color. It'll be just totally gray or brown. And then it says, how do I use it? It's 1 ounce of cure per 25 pounds of meat, or a scant, which is 1/4 teaspoon in 1 pound of meat. And today I'm going to be making 5 pounds of ground beef. I'm going to be using 1 teaspoon of cure and 7 teaspoons of kosher salt. It's warm here today, so the air conditioner is going to be coming on and off. So during the time that it's on, I will cut in and do a voiceover. Okay, let's go. Okay, now when you use this cure, if it calls for 1 teaspoon, use 1 level teaspoon, not a heaping teaspoon. 1 level teaspoon. And then here is my 7 teaspoons of salt, and I'm using real salt. Mix this all together until the salt dissolves. Okay, and then I'll put this back in the refrigerator. Okay, let me put this together. Whenever I wash this out, I always put a piece of paper towel in there to make sure that it's nice and dry. There we go. And that goes in here like so. And this is the auger. I always like to put a little bit of oil around the back side here. And the O-ring goes on right here. And this goes in like so. Tighten this up. And this is my grinding plate. That goes over the auger just like so. I'll bring you a little bit closer. And this is going to be a double grind, so I'm going to start off with the, let's see, what size plate is this? I'm starting off with the 10mm plate, grinding plate. And there's a little notch right here, and there's a notch right there on the grinding plate. So that goes right just like this. Line it up to that little notch right there. And then this is a coupler. Put it on there, not Incredible Hulk tight, just finger tight. Okay, now we're good to go. And I'll be using the fine grind for my second grind. And I'll be using my plunger to stuff it down here in there like so. And here's my beef. It's been in the freezer and it is super, super ice cold. The temperature should be 34 or below. And I'm almost sure that this meat is 34 below because I just took it out the freezer. It's actually 30 degrees. And when it's partially frozen like this, it'll grind up so nicely. It won't clog up my machine or do anything weird. Alright, I had to pop back in and do a voiceover. The air conditioner just came on, and the reason why the air conditioner keeps popping on and off is because I'm baking sweet potato pies today, and it's supposed to get into the 90s, and I don't want to heat up my house where I can't stand it, so I got the air conditioner on because I had a taste for some sweet potato pies. So, you know what? I'm not going to deprive myself of baking. I'm going to do what I got to do. So I turned on the air conditioner so the house is nice and cool and comfortable for her royal furriness and for me. So this is a part of the video where it's pretty well self-explanatory. I'm going to be grinding up some meat, and I would have muted it anyway because of the sound of my grinder. So sit back and relax and watch me work like you always do. Now, let's get started and make some hot dogs. And just like that, I'm done. And I always like to run a piece of bread through here so I can get all that sausage out. Let me get this piece of bread. I made some garlic buns a couple of days ago, so I have one left. And I kept out a little piece so I can run through. Okay, that did it. And here I have some coarsely ground beef. Let me see if I can get you down here so you can see it. And we're done. So what I'm going to do is mix up my spices in here, and then I'm going to run it through the fine grind the second time. And let me check my temperature. I want to make sure it's still chilled. And we're still below 34 degrees, so that's good. So work fast. Okay, and here's all my ingredients. Okay, starting from top to bottom. I have 1 tablespoon of sugar, ground black pepper, mustard powder. This is garlic powder. And I'm just going to add a little heat to it, so I got some ground chili flakes. And this is paprika and powdered milk. Now the powdered milk is going to serve as a binder. And then my recipe called for onion powder. I'm dehydrating 10 pounds of onions out on the patio, so it's not quite done yet. So I'm going to use some some sweet onions and just grind that up with the second grind. And then we'll be good to go. Okay, so let me change my gloves here because I got to mix all this stuff up together. Okay. Oh, I need to measure out, make sure I got 5 pounds here before I start adding all this spice to it. Alright, I measured out my meat and it measured out to 5 1/4 pounds of ground beef, which is just fine. And here I'm adding all the ingredients. Now, the last part of it where I'm doing the second grind, I had to speed that part of it up because it was going extremely slow, and that was my fault. After I mixed all this meat together with the spices, I should have put it back in the freezer and let it get another chill on it, and I should have cleaned out the auger because it had, the first grind in there. So I think that kind of helped it along as far as running slower than what it should have, because it was pretty well full of stuff and I should have cleaned that out, but that's my fault. So don't do what I did, do what you're supposed to do. And that's mix it up, put the meat back in the freezer, make sure your auger's clear and clean, and then start with the second grind. And you'll see where I'll be adding the fine grind plate, and then we should be done with the first part of this project. So let's go. And this concludes part 1 of making my all beef skinless hot dogs. I didn't want to have the video too long, so I'm going to split it up into 2 different videos, and I'm also going to put it in chapters. That way you'll have reference points if you want to go back and check out certain parts of the video. Alrighty, so I hope you enjoyed part 1 so far, and I will see you again in part 2. Thanks for stopping by.